Hey, welcome back to the channel. We are still working on the Model A Ford, the 1931, the Entex kit, that big 16th scale one. I'm loving this thing. I wanted to start this video, which is the second in our series on that Ford, by talking about the colors that were available for that particular car. So I have this book and it covers all of the paint schemes, and it's got paint chips. And it covers a lot of technical information about fit and finish on those cars. I'll come back to the chips in a second. But it gives a listing of year by year what you could get them painted in. So for us, of course, it's the Model A two-door sedan. So it looked like you could get Thorn Brown lower with the black upper, Lombard Blue lower with black upper, Chicle Drab lower with Copper Drab upper, Kiwani Green lower, Elk Point Green upper, and black completely all over it with just the apple green stripe. And so let me grab the lid here and show you what they're talking about. So on this one, I guess that's supposed to be the Chicle and the Copper Drab. So that's your lower, and then that's your upper, and all the fenders were all painted black on them. And then I believe that's either a outdoor fabric like a canvas or a leather, so it's kind of got like a soft top on it. Again, I'm not a Model A expert, so, but anyway, as I was saying before, Thorn Brown, Lombard Blue. So as I was saying before, I'm not real excited about what was available on them. That's Lombard Blue. There's your Chicle Drab. There's the Copper Drab. I don't know, they're just Thorn Brown. They don't really speak to me. The colors aren't really reaching out to me. So that kind of leaves me stuck with what to do. So I want to keep it looking original because I'm not doing anything else with the car, but I want to give it kind of a subdued color but update it a little bit. So what I have decided on is House of Colors PBC 70 Catch Me Copper 2, which would be a pearl. PBC means pearl base coat in House of Colors nomenclature. Let me shake this thing up. Okay. Yeah, it's a cool color. It's really pretty. So what I plan to do is the wheels and all of the body in that color, just that solid color. I might do a pinstripe on it. I'm not 100% sure yet, but then the fenders will be gloss black, and then the top will be just flat black, and then that'll be the copper, and all the rest of that'll all be copper. Chrome there, the chrome trim there. I think it'll give just enough color to give a little bit of flash, but it'll still kind of look period correct. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm not a Model A expert. I do know paint, however, so I think I'm going to do okay with it. But I bring that up now because that is something I had to figure out before we start on the next sections here, because I have to build the wheels for step 7. And if I'm painting them to match the body color, I of course have to have the body color. So I just wanted to get that worked out first, which of course I did. So we're going to start by putting the frame together, which I'm going to paint gloss black. All that's going to be gloss black, I think. Then the wheels will be the copper color. We'll do all 4 of them. And then all of this is going to be gloss black. All this is going to be gloss black. I'm going to do the exhaust in just steel, and then we'll get all that stuff done, and then that'll move us down to the running boards and the floorboard, the fenders and the floor and the interior. So I think that'll be a good place to stop. We'll get the chassis all completely done, and I think that'll make a good video. So let me put this over here and then let me get some stuff set up, and I'll come back and I'll get started on that frame. Okay, so I got out the 3 sprues that I need to finish this off, or actually just to work on this. So I think I'm really going to finish much on this. Right now, we're just going to get a start on it. So yeah, the 2 frame rails. Now on that, since that rolls around so much on the front, I'm cutting it way back. But this section here, I am getting right up on top of it. Okay. Nothing on that. And that's something I like to do. Whenever I run out of a spot, I like to cut the tree apart. Okay. There's those. Okay. Okay, then we'll do the 2 bumper mounts a little bit later. Okay, and then we gotta get that steering box, which is right here. And I'm just gonna nip that off right there. Okay. Okay. So there's all that to get the start on this. Yeah. Wow, this thing is just so nicely molded. It's kind of feels partially done already. I mean, just those parts are so nicely. There's no there's really no mold line on the okay. I'll do this one and then we'll come back to that. I'm sure you saw me drop that thing. Which is fine. I really just want to clean this up and show you a little bit of the trick that I use whenever I'm trying to put something together that I want to make sure is perfectly square. Okay, that actually can be taken off like that. I didn't need to be that particular about it. It's fine. Okay, so looks good. So as always, I'm going to come back over this with the fine pad just to make sure I kind of make sure I get this all set up nice and square. Okay. Okay, so that's it. That's that easy to clean up. So how to actually build this upside down. If I was doing this that way. Okay. So let's see. That has one. Okay, let me figure this up. Let me figure this out off screen. This looks like it's going to take a little while. Sorry. Okay, I got it figured out. So what was throwing me was the fact that there's two holes in this spot here. And I saw that and my brain just wouldn't let me just wouldn't work that maybe I only needed to use one of the holes. It was like, no, there's two. There has to be two things there. So anyway, if you look at how it's mounted, you're going to see that the engine mounts right there to there, and then this ducks underneath that cross member like that. So yeah, so that's how it goes. So we have, so that's going to go up front like that. This is going to go back here like so. That just needs to be cleaned up a tiny bit. Okay. So I think what you're really super worried about here is that the frame tapers. So you want to get that taper in it. So yeah, something like that. That's real rough, but you get it. And then I don't know what's going on with this piece here, because this obviously has some kind of mount or something on it, and they don't show it there where that goes. And I don't see anywhere on it where it shows it connecting anything. So maybe it doesn't matter how it goes on. Because it doesn't mount close enough to it to hook to it or anything. So I don't know. I'm just gonna point it face down and then not glue it in. To be honest, that's what I'm gonna do. If I could get away with it anyway. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to start by turning it upside down, and we're going to start at the front. So that has to go in like so. Okay. And there's 3 holes, and you want the third one back because your first 2 go to the bumper mount. Okay. 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 And then here again. And clips in there and there. So if I run the number 6 line, or the number 8 line right under there, I can double check it against the number 5 line here, and they line up. So it's square, and I can feel by how solid it is on the table, and there's no twist in that. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, and then I'm just going to, like I said, I'm just going to leave that. Just going to leave that in there, and we'll figure that out later. Okay, and then I'm just kidding. That was a joke. I know enough about these to know that's not where that goes. Although, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure where they do go on there. Looks like... Oh, here. I know how they go on there. That's a whole separate piece. I'll get those cut out and cleaned up, and then I'll come back to that. So just give me a second. Okay. Got all these parts cleaned up, and I figured out how I want to do this. I'm going to start by gluing this onto and this onto the frame. Okay, I just figured out that this has those holes offset. Yeah, by the drawing it looks like they're, even by that drawing it looks like it's set in, so, okay. So, inset they are. Okay. Yeah, we are making progress on this bad boy. No, that's way too much glue. That needs to be wiped off. No, come on. All right, and that's it's a little ugly, but it works. It does. I also got the steering box done, which just glues right here. I really like how they did this. They got it set up with that square peg on it. So that thing is going in one way and one way only. I am absolutely assured that that thing's gonna line up when I need it to after we paint it and get it set up to go in the car. Okay, so I guess actually all we need are the two front ones and we're going to be done with this portion of it. Okay, those are the wheels. Okay, that's it. Aha, here we go. Okay. trim those little extra bits off there. Okay. Okay, so this looks like it's going to take a little bit of time to get cleaned up because I'm going to have to come in here with some files and clean that inside radius up and stuff. So I'm going to do that off camera because I am pretty sure you guys aren't interested in seeing me do that. But if you are, leave a comment on this video and let me know, and then in the future I will be a little more detailed on that kind of stuff. So let me get this done. I'll see you in just a second. Okay, so we got the two front bumper brackets taken care of, and it looks like they are set up where the bracket follows the frame horn down, so that's easy peasy. Bit of glue right there. Line it up in the holes right there. Tiny bit more glue to make sure everything's all square. Done and done. Okay, man, this thing's coming along so well. I'm just loving this kit. I have to see if I can pick up some more from a friend of mine. I don't even know if these things are still, I don't even know. I honestly don't know how available these things are. I was going to make a joke about, I'll talk you guys into buying a bunch and we'll do a build off with them, but I don't even know if they're available or not, or even how much they would run. Although, if you guys think any sort of a build off would be a fun thing to do with me, let me know. I have a couple ideas in mind for some. So most notably, I would like to do a build off where you have to finish up a model you've already started, because I know as modelers we all have about 30 boxes of stuff laying around, and it's full of model parts and kits and all sorts of stuff that we started and then lost interest in. So yeah, if you think that's a good idea, let me know in the comments. And I will work on getting that set up. Okay. And then that mounts right there. So that mounts real solidly in there. Really solidly, really squarely. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, and then a lot of this stuff is going to be based off of that. So I'm going to stop right here for a minute. I have to clean up these wheels. I'm going to show you this one because you really do not need to see me do this on all 10 of them, or all 10 pieces. But for this, I would just take, I would take this. And these are set up where they're rounded in the back. So just a quick okay, just make sure that the That's taken off there. I'm sure you could do that with, geez, anything else in here. It's a big half-round file. Yeah, it took it down real nice. Yeah, I took it down really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that with the other 4. And then when I get that done, I'll come back and we will work on some more of this, because all this is all going to be painted black. So I want to do as much of it together as I can. So I got to come back, put the rear end together, get the what do they call these? They don't call them anything, I guess. They'd probably be like wishbones, dog bones, trailing arms. I don't know what you'd call them. But yeah, so I need to get all that put together, and then I need to get that ready. Like I said before, that's all going to be steel. That's going to be black. Yeah, I got to get all this ready. So anyway, that'll be up next. I'll get the tires and wheels done. We'll get them ready to, and then we'll get the rest of the stuff ready, and I'll show you that when we do that. All right, so we got the wheels painted. After I'm done doing this part here, I'll come back and I'll put those together and show you how they go together. So we're going to start with the front axle, and that's going to go upside down like this. And I think I goofed up. I sanded this all super smooth, and I doubt they were. I bet they had a mold line in them from the factory where they cast them. So I think I cleaned it up too much, but it's okay. So now they've got this set up where you can actually make it so the tires turn. I'm not going to. I don't like doing that. That's been my preference for a while. Seems like the more things you have that you can mess around with, the more they have a tendency of breaking. So just gonna do this, make sure it's nice and straight. Which I immediately did wrong. That was cute. All right, sorry. God, telling you. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then straight and straight. Okay, that right there is actually one of the reasons I don't like to really do these where stuff moves around too much. It's never super precise fit. And I mean, I understand why from the standpoint of building a mold and stuff with the plastic, with the injection molding and stuff, I get that. But it just seems like there's always a lot of slop in them. So I'm not a fan. I love it when it's done good. I know there's a lot of guys that'll come in and they'll fill them in and re-drill them and, you know, like put brass pins in through there and stuff like that. And that's awesome. If you do that, that's cool. I just don't. Not my thing. I just want to crank this out as quick as I can and get it done. Nah, I'm just kidding. I want to make them nice. I just don't want to. I'm just not that style of builder, that's all. Okay, and then those are going to go on just like that. So easy peasy. And that's it for the front axle there. And then before I paint it, I need to put E3, this part right here, on there. So I'll flip that upside down. Now I cleaned all these parts up before I started, obviously. I didn't think you guys wanted to be bored with watching me do that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that looks good, and that is ready to paint. So those are all ready. Let me clean up some of the rear axle stuff, and we'll put it together, and we'll be ready to get this thing going. Okay, we got all the rear suspension pieces cleaned up here, and we'll try to get this put together. So I'm going to start with the center section here, and just glue the axle halves to it, which is how they tell you to do it in the instructions anyway. Okay. Got to make sure that thing goes together nice and straight. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay. So all this is just these pieces here. Just there's two per axle half, and then they go into the center section, which is just two pieces. And then actually that front cone where the drive shaft runs, that thing's solid. It's kind of cool. So we'll finish this up real quick, and then we'll come in and we'll take the completed engine and we'll try to get this thing set up. Okay, so if I line that up there and that up there, I can make sure that that lines up nice and square. Which it does. Okay, perfect. All right, so it looks like here's where we're at. So we got to put the backing plates together with those arms, and then all that has to glue together here, and then it goes onto the spring. So I'm going to start with doing the backing plates, and it says that this slot faces down. So this would be the far side one. So this one would be this one here, which means that's your in piece. Okay. Cool, that was easy enough. And then this one would go on this side, so that would actually face up in this case. It's kind of weird, you kind of got to figure these out from the side, but it's actually kind of easy to build in your head, because the way it works is the spring sits here and then the shaft goes in like that, and then your axle is going to go together. So what I'm really worried about is making everything line up on here, because what needs to happen is, I don't know if you see it or not, but there is a little hole in the bottom there, and then that's where the axle pushes into. So these, you see the little end on that, they go in there like that, and then the axle just goes in into the transmission. So, and I don't know, maybe it's not the axle, but the drive shaft, whatever, I don't know what they call those. This is a much different setup than anything I've ever seen. So I think we can just leave that like that. Okay, so that's upside down on here, so that would go up. So actually, you know what, I don't think I need to. I think I'm turning this into something it doesn't need to be. I'm going to be honest. I think I'm turning this into something it's not. Okay, and then this side. Oh wow, these are not exactly set up real nice. Okay, this thing's a little worse off than I thought it was going to be. Holy cow. Okay, sorry, that just kind of struck me as weird, but we're good. I got her. Okay, make sure that squares up. Everything's still on the way it's supposed to be. Haha, we're good. Okay, look at that. That actually worked fine. And those are in the bottom of the transmission like they're supposed to be. Everything's lining up nice. That were the spring mounts. That were the spring mounts. Okay, and just kind of take the springs and jam them down in there. Make sure that's all fit like it's supposed to be. And hey, there we go. Rear suspension's done. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but we have a little bit of a handy spot to clip on to hold it when we paint it, or we can just do it off of the spring, because the cross member that holds the spring on actually kind of covers most of the spring. So if you put it in, you wouldn't notice if there was maybe a little bit of paint up here that wasn't on. So that's probably what we'll do, which actually is the next thing we need to do. So yeah, so we got to paint the backing plates, and we got to paint the rear axle, we got to paint the front axle and the front axle backing plates, and we got to paint these two pieces here, and we'll have everything done for this chassis, and we can start getting it up. Well, we got to paint the exhaust, but I'll do that in a minute when I'm doing the exhaust. But we'll have all the black stuff painted that needs to be painted for the chassis. So that'll be the next thing I'll do. I'll get all that stuff painted, then we'll come back, we'll start getting this put together, and then we'll get that exhaust in, and we'll be done with this. All right, so the wheels are back from paint. I got them in the in that really nice House of Colors copper color. They look great with the light on here. It's such a cool color. So all we have to do is you have to come in and detail these. As you can see, I did the lug nuts in chrome, just Maltal pen. I got the big 2mm one, and I just really lightly I goofed that one up. I can fix that, and I'll show you that in a second. So the Maltal ink is actually alcohol based. So if you ever goof anything up with this, you can just come back and wipe it off with rubbing alcohol. Okay, so there's the two really good ones. Now this one sitting over here is actually broken, and I'm planning on leaving it for the spare tire, but still gonna do the chrome on it. Let's see. I guess that one wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Okay, that one is. Let me show you this real quick. I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's fine. Here, let me grab some supplies and I'll come back to this. Okay, all you need for that is just a Q-tip and a little bit of rubbing alcohol. This is 91% isopropyl. Just a tiny touch on the tip of it. And then you can see where I goobered it right there. So you just got to come in. And real gently just push that off. Yeah, there we go. I don't know how you can see that, but it is gone. Done and done. Make sure that's perfectly dry, and then I want to come in and kind of boop the top of that again. Okay, that's it. So let me put this away. And next up, I'm going to show you how the wheels go together. So all I did was I just took the sanding stick and I cleaned out the interior. They have a little bit of a mold line on there, and then I straightened the tread up a little bit. That's it. I mean, it just was basically just over the top of it. Easy enough. I'm not going to bore you with it. Let's see. Yep, here, hold on, I need to grab some more stuff. Alright, I got the glue, and I got my little glue stick. So the way these go together, there is a little notch out of the inside of this. And then on these, you can see it right there, there's a little notch where it goes into that. So they just clamp together on the outside of the tire. So what I was going to do was just put the back of the wheel on the tire. Taking very good care not to touch those lug nuts. And then just take that entire ring here and put some glue on it. Okay, the glue just goes on like so, And then dip a little bit here and put it all along the inside ring there. And then on this one, I didn't realize it until now, but the paint kind of got all over there. Okay, so no big deal. It's just that you're trying to make it so the spokes line up appropriately. So okay, so there's where the pen goes, and then that's going to go right there. So this will clip in just like so. That'll push in right there. And then just got to hold that down enough to make sure that the wheel clamps together like it's supposed to, and you're good to go. Okay, I don't like that. I've had enough trouble with clamps doing weird stuff on me here lately. Okay, there we go. Let's let that just sit and dry for just a second. And we'll have her. So that's it. I'm going to do the other, so there's 5 wheels in total. So I'm going to do the other 4 wheels, and then when I am done, we'll come back because I should have all the suspension stuff back from paint by then, and we'll put all the suspension stuff together. We'll have the chassis put together. So let me get these finished up and I'll come back. Okay, so we got all the suspension components back from paint. As you can see, I still got some wheels to put together, but I got the 2 for the front put together, and that's all we really need right now. So the rear axle turned out beautiful. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. The front axle turned out just as nice. Really shiny, really nice, and black. Looks very, very good. That thing's already ready. So I did one of these off camera just to make sure I understood how they worked before I filmed it, and they are just straightforward as they can be. Yes. You just take the backing plate, shoot the rivet through it. That's it. So I'm gonna show you that, and then we'll get on that front axle. We'll try to get this thing cleaned up a bit. So you just got to take this, I put that on there because that holds it nice and flat. Otherwise the rivet will get pushed out of place weird. Okay, let me grab my hammer here. Alright. So just want to make sure that's all nice and square. Actually, what I would suggest is putting that there and then starting this on the back. Just get it pressed in a little bit, make sure it's on there nice and square. That's looking good. Now these, I don't know if you can see them or not, these 2 little nuts here, They actually protrude past the base, so that's why I'm putting it on my knife blade handle. So that'll sit nice and square. Make sure it's square. Just bump it a few good times till it stops. Aha. Okay, done and done. So that looks good. Now what you got to do, you just got to come in and glue the hubcap on, just like that, and it's done. How pretty is that? So let me clean this up a little and get this moved around, and then we'll come in and I'll get the suspension all put together. Okay, I just had to refill my super glue and get some stuff cleared out of the way here. So what we're going to do is just want to take and clean these up so they're nice and so that's nice and square. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. And then the back of these are okay, and then gonna come back on here and figure out which way they go on. I forgot. Okay, so that faces backwards. Okay, so these face backwards, and by the looks of it, they're kind of universal, so that's good. Okay, and like always, you just got to kind of hold it up there for a little bit. Blow on it maybe. Okay, oops, oh crap. Oh, that was close. Okay. So I'm just going to stop here and go to Vegas because my luck's good today. Wow, I'm surprised I didn't just get everywhere. Okay. Okay, and then just repeat that magic on this side. Ah, come on, you guys. Okay, there we go. And that should sit there on its own for just a minute. Okay, and that's good. Oh man, that looks good. So, okay, so we're done with that part. So we need to put the engine, we actually need to put the motor in, which is good because I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Okay, so the hump comes up, that's the top. The engine's going to glue in. So I did a test fitting on this earlier. These glue in right there, and then they glue in right on the frame pads right there. Okay, and then if you want, I guess you could put like a drop on the top of that because it does kind of bump up against there. And then just under there. Make sure that's good there. And then that front end comes down right there. And then again, yeah, just hold that in there for a little while. Nothing real exciting about this. Basically just watching glue dry. I mean, I don't know. It's obviously not the exciting part of modeling, but it's really what modeling is. So we'll get that done, and then we can put the front suspension on, and then we'll get the rear end done. So I'm going to leave the tires and wheels off right now in the back. I want to glue the rear axle in, and then I got to get the exhaust system sorted out. Okay. Okay, that is glued on there and it is not going anywhere. So that leaves us with gluing the front spring on. And these are so cool. I love how these go together. You have the mount on the back, and then you just have basically a spring perch in the center. And then just make sure that's in there square. There we go. And just let that dry, and then the rear axle is actually super close to the same thing. It just has a few more parts to it, and that's all. So same kind of deal. That's going to glue in. That's going to glue on there. And then that's going to go right in the end of the transmission. So that goes. Oh no! Oh, okay. No big deal. That's actually not as bad as it looked. I wished I hadn't done that on camera though. Okay, let me stop and regroup for a second. All right, got that picked up. No big deal. It just popped the axle tube out. That's all. Actually, that's not that bad. So just gotta glue there, and then there, and then this needs a little drop right on that pin. Come on. There we go. Okay. Make sure that's down where it's supposed to be. Looks good and square. Okay. Yep, both of those are on the ground, both those are on the ground. Okay, that is going to be nice and square. So we are done with that. Next up is going to be the exhaust system. So let me grab that and we'll go over that. I'll show you what's going on with that real quick. So it's easy enough. It's just these two pieces here, which make the muffler. And then that mounts the exhaust pipe. And then the exhaust pipe comes out across this ring, which is your mount, it's your hanger. And then the tip of it goes on. Now I'm not real up on these cars, so I don't know if that tip would be chrome or not, but I think I'm going to do that. So let me get this glued together and paint it up, and then we'll come back. I'll show you what I'm going to do for the chrome on this, and then we'll get the exhaust system put in, and then I'll finish. I'll get the wheels finished up this time, and then we'll put the axle shaft in the backing plates, and we'll put the rear axles on, and then we'll be done with this to the point where we can start on the interior. So I'll be back in a second. All right, we are at the last step here. I just got the steering arm put on. I actually had to come in and scratch build that rod to make it work, so that's why I didn't show that, because I wasn't sure how much time that was going to take, but it actually wasn't that hard at all. Just some 30,000 styrene rod, cut the length, glued it, done and done. So that leaves us with the last part, the exhaust system. This thing's so cool. So I looked these up online, and I don't 100% know where that mounting bracket goes. So I guess it kind of goes wherever you want it to go. So that's the way I took it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to glue I don't want to use that one. I'll use this one. So I'm just going to glue that right there, and then just going to kind of quasi follow the instructions and just glue that in the back there. So lift that up. Okay. And like always, this kind of turns into a waiting game of making sure that goes where you want it to be. So that looks good. I'm going to use one of these. Oh, that won't clip under there. Okay. I got to use one of these. Ah. There we go. Okay. We'll just let that set up. And chassis done. I got the rear tires done. Got the caps on them. One thing I did want to mention with the tires, I'm glad I thought of that, is they have writing only on one side. It says Firestone, and it has like the tire size. If you look at the other side, they are completely blank. So if you build one of these, make sure to get the writing on the outside. Yeah, that thing sits nice and square. Everything's lined up great. All those colors all look just perfect. That is just wonderful. I love this kit. So that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode we'll come in, we'll get the fenders taken care of, which are just going to be gloss black. I'll just do those. I'll show you those. That'll be easy enough. And we're going to get the interior taken care of, which we have to do a couple of things to it, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, so as always, use code YouTube10 and get 10% off at scalefinishes.com. So if you're building a Model A, if you're building any model, I mean, I don't care, military, Gundam, cars, race cars, semi-trucks, you name it, motorcycles. I could do this all day. No, seriously, if you're building anything, you know, Scale Finishes, we got paint colors for you. So, like I said, use code YouTube10, get 10% off there, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.